Um, I'm Dan Kubicek. I'm with Ambrose Property Group, a developer, and I wanted to come discuss with you guys today about the property, the Ports property over on Neal Creek Mill Road. What I wanted to do here tonight is to request that the Port hold a special meeting to approve and discuss the third extension of PSA to allow a little bit more time to coordinate approvals for the scheduled development on this project. As some may know, the current PSA expires on 7/20, so July 20th. And the next board meeting is on, wouldn't you know, July 21st. So obviously there's a conflict there with the timing between the two. As everybody's well aware, there was an application filed through Hood River for an industrial land use permit for a 48,000 square foot warehouse facility. This is where bulk shipments will come in via truck, basically get sorted internally in this facility, then get delivered via van to the local community. I should just note that this site, obviously, it's got some good components from design. Stormwater has already been taken a look at, positive recommendation from staff. We're also planning for EV capacities for 100% of the vans to be used out there. So a lot of benefits with this facility. The proposed building obviously fits in with the general uses with the surrounding neighbors. The site was formerly a mill site. And the one thing that we should keep in mind is, this was part of the mill bill. And obviously the mill bill took these sites that were former mill sites and allowed for them to be redeveloped for industrial uses. So we feel that we are meeting the intent of that bill. And we also feel like we're complying with all the local design codes. There has been obviously some community pushback on the project, which we have heard and we received, and we understand their concerns. However, we don't think that this should dissuade, certain businesses with, we'll call it name brands, from developing in Hood River. So that's kind of where we stand on the project as of now. So in closing, I would like to just say that, we're going to continue to be supportive of the Port, for signing the original PSA for the redevelopment of this ground. And again, just requesting that the board hold a special meeting sometime between now and July 20th to extend PSA on this project. That's it. Thank you guys for your time.
Easton Craft.
Yes. Hi. I guess I'm the nameless company you were talking about. So my name is Easton Craft. I'm with Amazon. I want to come out and just introduce myself. I think Dan covered off pretty much all of the kind of technical components, but I just want to kind of reiterate Amazon's commitment to the region, to the community, and to be a good partner. We are very excited about bringing this facility to the community. It is a tremendous benefit for our customers and folks beyond that. It's important to invest in our teammates at our facilities. So we hire at very competitive wages, well above minimum wage for even tier one starting employees. Many folks, it's their first job out of high school or wherever. So we're very excited to do that. They also receive benefits and from healthcare, 401k on day one of their employment. Along with the direct employees that we'll be hiring at this facility, we also support additional jobs in the communities, and I have a number of facts that back this up based on historic evidence of our facilities opening. But that's everything from contractors, maintenance operations, retail, other local service sectors, and then just overall investment in the community with our employee base either being from here and being able to invest larger amounts of money in the community. Beyond that, we also think that Hood River residents are going to notice a big difference just in terms of their delivery. So we generally put Amazon facilities, places where we have customers, and there are quite a lot of customers in this area. And so being able to put a facility here reduces the carbon footprint for transportation. Many of the vehicles, the delivery vehicles we'll be using will be EVs. So we'll be sort of zero carbon footprint on a lot of those delivery vehicles. And we're committed to that here, but also in Oregon more broadly. We also, I think what's important is that we want to be good neighbors in the community. And this is the part I wanted to reiterate. So things from sponsorships to donations to nonprofits, partnerships with the local schools, shelters, and volunteer efforts by our employees. reiterate our commitment to being good neighbors in the community and being a part of the growth and the benefit of the community as we move forward. So, as I said, we're excited about being part of the community, and we're very thankful that we get to partner with Port on this project as we move forward. Thank you.
Hey, it's Tracy. I'm now taking the liberty of moving this recording back to the start of public comments when Lack Litwer from Lightwell Hotel talked about the parking pass program.
My name is Locke Litwer, live at 2204 Sherman Avenue over here in Hood River. I appreciate your having me here today. I was here to talk about the proposal for parking over on the Anchor Way lot, the new lot that you guys have paved and striped and everything. Let me just walk through. Like I said, I am a Hood River resident, business owner of 3 businesses here in Hood River County. As you probably are aware, one of those businesses is the Lightwell Hotel. The hotel was a historic restoration originally built in 1904 that we completed late last year. It has 69 rooms, averaging about 65% occupancy. We think only been open a few months, so we don't really know yet, but that's our goal. We have spa, 4 food and beverage outlets, and a great view of all of your land over here. Parking. As you are all aware, we have no parking at the Lightwell Hotel because the building takes up the whole lot. We didn't build it that way. That's what came on. As a requirement for redeveloping and restoring that property, the city required us to meet new parking standards because they deemed it a new use, even though it had been a hotel. They said the abandonment made a new use. That forced us legally then to either acquire new parking offsite, which is impossible, or pay an in lieu fee, which we did. The in lieu fee wound up being a very healthy 6 figures. We did not ask for a diminishment. None was offered of that. Paid it, it's fine, no problem. So we have no legal obligation to provide parking beyond that under the law. There was a parking pass program the city ran that predated us. I think it was about 10 years old. It was recommended to us by the city. We didn't make any money off of that, but what it did was it allowed our guests to basically prepay for parking by the day, so long as they did not park on Oak Street. That was the whole purpose of the program, to keep the parking on Oak Street open so they could have higher turnover there in exchange for convenience to people who are visiting. In response, we had about 20% of our guests use that program, more or less, and we made no money off of it. That was a pass through to the city. The pass was bright pink, very visible, and a group of folks downtown who own businesses felt like that was a really clear indication of why parking is scarce in downtown Hood River. You know, I'm not here to discuss the veracity of that observation, but that was a concern that they had. They brought that to the city, and in response, the city decided to effectively do away with the program as it exists. They moved some of it to the lot across from Full Sail, the Columbia lot, but it's very limited, very different, and we've had very little interest from guests in using that. Since then, we've had really no effect. We were offering that to guests; they're not using it. We've had really no complaints from guests about the parking situation. Most of our guests come from metro areas. They're used to walking 2 blocks, 3 blocks, whatever it is. It's fine, right? However, we've received a lot of feedback from city council members, staff over there, fellow business owners downtown asking, hey, would you please consider an off-street solution, right? Would you please consider self-park or a valet program, something to get more cars off the road so that people who want to come shop can come shop, right? Now, our guests spend on average for to visit Oregon about $80, $90 a day in retail. They do shop, but that's neither here nor there. So we're willing to do that. It's complex and it has costs associated with it. And once again, we do not anticipate making money off this. To the best of my knowledge, there's never been a valet program in Hood River. We don't know what uptake will be, but we're willing to undertake that, right? However, we don't have off-street parking to do that in, you know? So, you know, I suggested, I said, hey, you guys have this lot, you know, you have the data, I don't, but anecdotally, the lot over there, okay, I'll get as much as I can in here. You know, I've literally never seen more than 1 car in it, you know, but like I said, I'm sure you guys have data. I said, you know what, let's do a trial. Let's try and get through this busy season, couple-month contract. We will make sure you get some revenue. You know, we will have a place to put cars. It feels like a win-win to me. But, you know, we're doing this to be a good neighbor. It's not a business proposition for us. We think it might help the downtown businesses be successful. We can only do it if the cost is reasonable. I've seen the staff report. I understand the imperative to make money, especially for the port right now with the situation that you guys are facing. Get it, right? We're also a business, and we just can't shoulder on this kind of a goodwill program a tremendous amount of additional costs. So ask you to please bear that in mind. I'm happy to talk with you about what reasonable looks like in our view, so that we don't lose money, because we're not going to do it if we lose money. That's what I'm here for. I'm happy to answer questions if anybody has any.
Louis Moeller.
I'm sorry, I should have wrote down. Nobody knows me by that name here. My name's Lucky Mahler,
Oh,
and my mother was the first female president of the Chicago port in 1999.
oh, cool.
So she'd be very happy about it. She was very happy. About a month ago, she passed away at 105. But she did a lot of things visually for that side of the port, helped develop what we call the interface with the people and the river versus the businesses. So I come today with an interesting 3 ideas, all of which are paid. I like that, right? We have an ever increasing sandbar that's changed how boats access this marina, completely don't access the other marina. We have a waterfront that's no beach. Well, the beach over here needs to be deep treed or whatever. We can sell enough of we can get a permit to mine the sand, sell it, and we can take half of it and reposition it all the way down the frontage way. And we can end up with a sandy beach the entire way to access for sailors, that and people to swim. The other thing that needs to be thought about is, the terminology of bridge to nowhere. We remember that in Alaska. We just did that in the Columbia River Gorge. We built 66 miles of bike trail. And it's not connected to Hood River. There's 1.3 miles yet to be built from where the underpass goes there before you get to Mitchell Point up to the Indian Meredith Motel is what I would call it. Anyway, here's the problem. When they spend the $66 million that they have budgeted, 66 or more, where's it going to go? Do we want the bikes downtown? Do we have room? We don't have parking for them. We don't have room for bikes. So one of the thought process is get you can go straight on the West Cliff. Yeah, West Cliff. West Cliff turns and goes under. Well, we could go left and we can go over and we can build a floating bridge to the hook. We can build a semi-arch bridge to the hook. Now we're a little bit more money. Floating bridges, we can do that. We can build a real short one and take it in by the sanitary sewer. And we then bring the bikes down to the port where there's more room for them and they can stop and rest, interface with the businesses down there. The other thing that happens by repositioning the sand is we access the other marina. And we're short of marina here. We don't have places to have live on marina. We don't have places to have more storage, people who want to have a boat or whatever it is for marina. We don't have room for a business to be operating within the port. So the idea is 3 things. We reposition the sand to get a sandy beach. We make money selling the sand because we got our permit to do it, to pay for moving the sand that pays for putting a floating bridge for the bike trail, not into town, but here to the port. Because the beauty of bringing it to the port is where's the next connection? It's the bridge over and up and gets to the rest of the thing. So it interfaces the entire bike experience for people. And I've seen numbers. He's probably got more numbers on the bike things, but the bike weekend in the summer is 600 people a day. That's down there. They're not going to come here. Well, they can't get here. So one of the things is both the city and the port need to put their heads together and plan. How are we going to take advantage of the bridge to nowhere? The bike path. Do you guys know it has to be 12 feet wide? It has to be 12 feet wide. It has to hold trucks. It can't just be a bike path. So it's a real big thing. So That's the thing. Move the sand, have a sandy beach, get a floating bridge and access the other marina to make more money. And theoretically, you're not going to have to ask anybody for money because you're going to get the permit from the state to mine the sand and sell the sand. Will pay for everything.
Love it. Thank you.
In fact, I worked with Nancy Moeller on the first path that originally came around this building and all the way through the waterfront. And also a lot of experience with the waterfront park. I just, I think you're going to review a little bit your proposal tonight by Claudia. And I just want to encourage you to keep as much public access, public space, recreation space, just opportunities for our community to interface with the waterfront as possible. I know you have lots of great ideas and just flow for you. So I just want you to keep that in your mind. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thanks for being here and giving up your lovely sunny evening. So parking seems to be the big problem in town. Some 30 years ago, I purchased the Union Building from the Port of Hood River. And I think I've been working on it ever since. For those of you who don't know, it's a very long building west of 2nd Street Bridge and all the way to 7th Street, almost abutting your Big 7 building. I'm proposing a development west of my development currently, filling in what the port deconstructed some 30 years ago, and we call it the Pavilion, that big concrete structure. It's very lovely industrial art, but I'm hoping to reconstruct it and actually make use of about 12,000 square feet of space. In order for me to do that, I need to provide some parking. It turns out that the Big 7 has quite a bit of space to the east, quite a bit of open land. My proposal in a nutshell is to purchase outright some 30 by 80 feet of that to put parking on the upper portion. And failing outright purchase, I would be willing to provide for the port at my cost some parking down below. And that parking down below, in a nutshell, is probably about 18 to 20 parking spaces. I would do that with my crew, as I said, at my cost. But that, of course, invites the port to be interested in selling or parting with any land whatsoever. That would help the city's mandate of creating some off-street parking. I would gladly do that. And I think a lot of the answers in town are pocket parking areas, not large parking structures. But that's my take on it. People don't like to walk more than a block or two. That would make it easier for some of your tenants in the Big 7. And I applaud you for what you're doing there and the art spaces. And it would help my tenants have off-street parking. I hope that when you get the proposal, you'll consider it. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. Thank you for your time.
I'm Jeannie Mack and the founder of the sailing program, 21 years ago. Just wanted to say I was excited to see the proposals for the marina that they did. That concept 3 included some consideration for the recreation that's going out in the marina, and I feel like the port is helping to look after some of the needs of the public, and I hope that it's something that can be discussed more and seems like a good plan. But again, thank you guys for helping to steer some of that development towards the public good. Thanks.